Okay. All right, I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 5:02 p.m. Good evening and welcome to the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. I would like to officially call this meeting to order. With myself being present, I will officially take roll call. Cheryl Kessel. Present. Ben Kramer.
Here.
Jerry Muccio.
Here.
Becky Keck.
Here.
And Robin Asmundstad.
Here.
All right, the first item is general public comment. This is the time members of the public may give comment of a general nature. No official action may be taken by the commission during this time unless it is to direct staff to look into a matter. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes. If you are watching online and would like to make a public comment, please send a chat message to the host in Zoom. Would anyone like to make a general public comment on an item that is not on the agenda? Okay. Please come on up. Hi. Hi there. We'd like you to state your name and whether you are a Clarkdale resident.
Yes, my name is Carol Schmidt. I live at 1760 Buena Vista in Clarkdale. What I want to talk about tonight is to tell Joni thank you for coming over to the Copper Penny Park, and she and Terry were there looking at putting some fencing up for our pickleball so that we don't have to go down into the ditch to get the balls. The second thing I want to do is I'm proposing, I'll keep one, just kind of pass these around. So what you're looking at is the current pickleball court pad that's in black. The basketball court is in blue lines and the pickleball court is in orange lines. And we're proposing that a second court. We're now getting about 8 to 10 people per day playing. So we kind of have to, if you've played it before, you kind of wait and whatever, but we'd like to be able to have more people play because some are still waiting. So we're proposing in the yellow that it be painted white like the existing court is in orange over the basketball court. So I don't want hardened posts in the court. We just want a portable net. Chuck and I have a portable net that we bring down, but we just need the lines. Thad Card, who works with John Tobias, has the original pickleball court template that he's willing to let us use to paint. We can supply the paint if you guys want, and it would just be white paint to match the white pickleball court. And the proposed area is at the half court center, the round, the semicircle, just because that gives, this is kind of to scale. I don't know if you can see it, but because I have the graph paper, sorry. The little space in between the orange, the hardened post, and the blue line is 2 feet. So, and this is 6 feet here, so it would be 8 feet in between. So that would give enough place for people to run around, play around the pole, plus have access, ingress, egress to the courts. There haven't been that many people that have been playing basketball, never in the morning that we've ever seen, but I do see them. I don't want anything to impede in their part of the fun of the park. And that's what I'm proposing. So if I've got my name and my number down there, we've got people who are willing to cough up the money and the time for laying down the court and painting the court, and as well as the paint. If you guys our net is not all that great, but if you guys are proposing a better net, which we would love, Chuck and I could house it at our house so that you wouldn't have to have an equipment box that I think got broken into down at the Centerville court. And then the people, because most of the people just live in the neighborhood, they could just come access it in our garage or at our front door, whatever, and then take it down if we were late or whatever needed. So, I mean, that might be, some of the considerations, equipment location, setup, takedown, logging in and out for use if you guys were to maintain the net. That's about it. I don't know. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'm sorry?
So we appreciate the comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the work you did to put into this.
Here, let me give you this.
Sure.
We're needing this.
All right. Okay, moving on into updates. update number, or letter A for parks, we have an update on Copper Penny and Selma Mangini.
Yeah, so, Dr. Penny, the good timing that we're, just giving you some updates on and Carol pretty much already did that for me. We've been out to the park and assessed the situation with with Carol, to just determine what fencing, placement we need to keep the users of the pickleball court safe so that they're not falling down into or walking down into the ditch and potentially falling. And so we determined that we've ordered the equipment. The equipment will, or the fencing will be here next week. And at the first available time that Thad has time to get out and put up the fencing, we had an agreement with John Tobias that from Crossroads, the Crossroads developer, that he would, if we purchase the equipment, he would provide the labor for that fencing to be put in. So, and I confirmed with him a few weeks ago at a meeting that he was still open to doing that. So the town purchased the fencing through our Parks and Rec, through our park safety capital improvement fund, and it was about $1,200, a little over $1,200. And so, yeah, we're going to get that up. And I would probably recommend, and I am not even sure this is the right time, but that we have a future agenda item for the pickleball discussion or the other, since we can't make a decision on that.
Is that Parkdale's, or is it still the developers at this time?
It is ours now.
It's ours.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. The town just took that over a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And so now we've owned the property for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But now their development agreement for that
You've adopted
particular property is, they have fulfilled their 3-year term of maintaining the property. And now the town is having to do that. So Public Works has had to pick up an additional part to take care of, so. Which they were prepared for. They knew that was coming. Any questions about Copper Penny? Okay. I know that there's nothing better than driving by that park and seeing people use it and all people that are using the courts. So let's talk about Selma Mangini Park. We got our grant, yay! So our total of $1.5 million we have. The town will need to match about 500,000 of that. The total project is 2.5. We have the funds to take care of everything that we need for the park at this time. Our original commitment, let me remind you, we started that project in 2018. We are now moving into the process to work with Arizona State Parks. It just also a reminder that was a land and water conservation grant through national parks, but it is administered by Arizona State Parks and Trails. So we are getting to be boots on the ground here pretty quick to start the plan. That Felicia has been really helping us get some of those pieces together. We've got an agreement that we have to sign with Arizona State Parks. And then we're going to be able to start moving forward. So we're really excited about that. It's fun to get money and then you go, oh my gosh, we got money. Now we got to build it. But we're ready. We're ready. Any questions on that one? Okay. Update on Parks and Trails. I assume everybody saw the programs. Everybody saw the programs that we're doing. That Marcia has been taking folks out and fixing up the trail that got washed out. That's been a really important project. And then our welcome birds and butterflies, super popular. You have more than 18 now, right, Shell? 22, yeah. So, and Cheryl's been really instrumental too in helping get that get that project or keeping people involved.
Yeah.
Keeping the list. Any questions, programs? Okay, state parks and, state parks agreement for the Tuzagood wrap. We are very close. And it's taken almost a year to get this done. We're very close to an agreement on this. We got a contract, from them or agreement from them that was, really not gonna work for the town. And so we, had some conversations with the local state parks and trails. I'm reasonably sure they helped, instrument some, or initiate some conversations on what would work better for the town. So we're in good shape. I'll bring you back the details on that. It's actually gonna turn out, that it should provide us more funding than what we're currently getting for, to maintain the Tuzagood wrap. And state parks will, start handling some of the capital improvement there. So
Does the MOU expire or is that gonna last longer than the IGA?
it's gonna be just like the IGA. It will be.
It'll have an expiration date annually or
It
what?
will have an annual
A renewal date?
The first, it's a 1 year. And then it renews every 2 years, providing nobody has an issue,
Okay.
either party. And it goes until like 2036 or
Okay,
something like that.
All
So it's way out there. It's 10 years.
Yeah.
Basically. So
Okay.
it must be
great.
different, but yeah, so that is good. That was really, we were really excited to have that meeting with
Yeah.
them. So, and the lawyers agreed, and that was crazy. So, we should, in fact, I have a draft already to be reviewed and I just trying to get all the pieces together, but. Okay, are we on to trails maintenance? No, town park maintenance. We've been working very closely with Public Works to evaluate what the needs are in our parks. We've really only gotten to one park so far, which is Town Park. That's our iconic park and is so popular and to the forefront. We know we're working on Salna Mangini. We know we're working on Caballero. We know Copper Penny's in good shape because it's so new. Centerville will be our next focus, but right now we've done an assessment and we are prioritizing that list now with Public Works, working together very well as a team to determine what the needs for those parks are and what's feasible for us to get to in a timely manner. And then we also do have a company coming in, playground assessment company coming in to do an assessment on all of the parks, all 5 parks. And so we'll get that report like we did a couple years ago. And we actually want to start doing that annually just because, and maybe once all the parks are newer, maybe we do it every 2 years. But right now, the situation that we're in, and even though Caballero is going to be redone and Selma is going to be done, it's going to be a while before that equipment is out of there. We just want to make sure that everything is safe. So we'll get a list from them and then we'll take it from there. How am I doing?
Good.
Did I get through all the reports?
Concerts in the park and the gazebo are the last 2.
Thank you. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. So, and I'm gonna go into a bigger description on the town park gazebo. But it is going to be under some construction, so we did have to rearrange. I think I gave you guys that information when we canceled our meeting last month and updated you. I hope I did, but we have had to rearrange the bands. We pushed the whole concert season back to June 24th, hoping that we will Did I say the right date? June 24th?
Right.
Okay. That, we will be able to have our concerts in the brand new gazebo at that point. But, we'll get more information on that as time goes. We may end up needing to relocate that first, maybe even the second concert. I hope not, because we've got 4th of July, right, and knocked out in between those two, so we're keeping fingers crossed that everything's gonna come out just the way we want it. Any questions about concerts? Oh, we do still need volunteers, but you got that covered.
We're covered, and I
Okay.
sent out an email yesterday for volunteers to sell tickets and clean the park. But you guys don't need to worry about that, even though you are on the list. Just
What is the alternate location?
Well, exactly determined.
Okay.
We have,
Go to school?
Parkdale School,
I was just wondering if it had happened before in the past. It had to be relocated and there was.
we
already-
did one time, it
Yeah.
did, yeah, we had to do it on the view deck, behind the clubhouse here. It's not our ideal location because we can't get very many people in.
Mhm.
Alan probably remembers that, it's good times.
And it's hot because it's all in concrete that
Yeah.
time of the year, so.
Yeah, and, you know, people can't spread out and get their space, so it's, yeah, but the concrete is, it's difficult. We may, yeah, we're gonna have to alternate. We could do something, as a street kind of thing. I mean, there's lots of opportunities. The college, Yavapai College Pavilion could potentially be an option, although we've had some feedback from our sound engineer that the sound is not really very good at that location. So, but you know, it's hopefully only one concert. So we'll explore that more when we get a schedule, because we know how that kind of thing goes, and they usually run late, and supply and that kind of thing can be a problem right in these days. So we will keep you posted, and if you have an idea on something, let us know. Okay, and then we do have, hold on. So update on the town park gazebo. You have in your stack of papers there, I gave you a copy of the council staff report from last night's meeting regarding the gazebo that Ruth Mayday put together, and she presented to the council. This is a really hot topic right now, and I want you all to have a very good understanding of what we're doing and why we need to do it. The gazebo, the council had a very tough decision last night to consider, you know, if they were gonna, you know, the options were to try to renovate, that's not the word, rehabilitate the gazebo and just kind of try to do a fix on it and keep as much of keep as much of it as they can in place. Really, the issue is the gazebo is not in safe condition currently. And so we will be, the council actually opted, after hearing a full room of participants through public speaking. And it was a range of information or a range of comments from people being, you know, basically don't tear down our gazebo, to, you know, we get it. It's, you know, we trust the council to make the best decision. You know, we've had many architects, we've had people look at the gazebo, we've had recommendations. This has been going on since 2021. It has been at many council meetings. So as you see things on Facebook, I just want you to know that most of those comments are coming from folks that either aren't familiar, aren't familiar with the situation, or they're very emotional about it. And we totally understand that. It's, you know, it feels like a big piece of history, and it is to many of us. But we have to keep our public safe, and we want to do it right so they're not back there in 5 years. It's an expensive project. It's over $200,000. It's close to $260,000 to reconstruct, to renovate it. And it is it's $214,000 to let me take that back. Yes, that is correct. $214,000 to take it down and build it right. It'll look the same. That is absolutely the plan, that it will look the same. There is one caveat in that we do have to put in an ADA ramp. And we want to put in an ADA ramp. There was a discussion about the
Elevator.
thank you, the ADA, yes, the lift. And so they're still, they haven't exactly, I don't think that's on the table, but for obvious reasons, for safety and in a public space, it can't be, you know, kids could get on it, and it would be very difficult to have that, but they are going to have to construct a ramp without that. And so there've been lots of different discussions around that, you know, they're gonna meet with the. What's the matter?
There's noise over here.
It sounds like it, I don't know where.
Yeah, it sounds like back over here somewhere. Maybe that speaker. I guess that speaker.
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything?
I do, I can hear it, it's a clicking.
No, nothing.
It's like, I was about to ask somebody to stop tapping their foot. I was freaking out. Somebody just did, I think. Just stop. Now it's different.
Now do you hear, now do you hear something?
Never happened. Sorry, guys.
You're supposed to go now, right? Anyway, so there will need to be a ramp. It's going to be tricky to figure out how to do that without blocking up the park. The contractors and town staff are going to meet and determine what the best plan of attack will be on that.
The problem isn't the ramp, it's the stairs. It's at ground level. We don't need a ramp. It's ADA accessible.
Yeah, but then we don't have a good bandstand.
So you want to call it a bandstand now or a gazebo?
Oh, you tricked me right into that, didn't you? So again, you know, as you're talking to people, please, you know, read over this. Also, I would encourage you to go on to the council meeting video from last night and listen to Ruth Mayday's presentation. She had a full, and I think they posted on there, she had a full slideshow that actually, you know, talks about the history, because honestly, the biggest thing about the gazebo now, it is not the same gazebo that was originally built. And it hasn't been for a long time. It was almost completely reconstructed in 2004, with exception of some posts that they described last night that they glued together with termite glued it together or something. Anyway, so if you have any questions as things are coming up or you're reading them online, please be sure and, you know, ask us about it. If you don't know, ask us about it, because we want you to be as educated as possible on the subject, because it's in our park and it could come up. And again, there are some people who are just, you know, they're having a hard time wrapping their head around the whole situation. And, you know, we get that, but we also, you know, the council voted to do the construction, and that will be what happens. And we'll give you the update on the schedule as soon as we get it.
Do you mean when they voted to do the construction, the demolition and
Demolition,
Okay.
yes, they voted on number 2 to demolish, but they also said that the mayor said, and the town manager also mentioned that it is in the plan, in the construction plan, bid, that they will keep as much of the what they can to reuse that's reasonable. So like the copper ball, that's on top, we can keep that and use it. We got an email today from someone who had an idea to keep the wood, give it to an artist and let them, create some kind of art project with that, the museum could potentially, use as a fundraiser or something along those lines. We haven't explored those options and we don't really have time to do that, unfortunately, but maybe somebody out there does. So if anything is kept, it's really gonna be very small things, but I think that will help people maybe feel still connected to the historic value. That's any questions? That was a little longer than we're supposed to talk about, but we can. I thought I would have put it as an agenda item if I actually had more to give you, because let me make sure.
On the agenda.
That's very nice. Yeah, you'll see in this when you get them to look it over, that they went out the first time and got just a bid without a ramp at all for, it was well over $200,000. Our budget for it was 150. So, that's when they went back out and they're, just keep kind of trying to make it work.
Okay. Right, thank you, Joni. The next item is minutes where we will vote to approve the items. Would anyone like to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting held on March 8th, 2023, as written.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. So then we are going to cover discussion only items. The first one, item A, is Parkdale Trails Master Plan. I lost
Alrighty.
the staple in my packet, so it all fell
Yeah.
apart.
It's item 6A.
Got it.
So we have been working with Logan Simpson, mostly Felicia has been working with Logan Simpson to get a plan for their visit to us on the 22nd of the week of the 22nd of May. But primarily, they've been working on the outline. And I gave you just kind of a snippet of that, not of the Trails Master Plan outline. That is in the back behind, in the page behind, but just kind of the phases that we're going through. We had talked about that so that you guys understand where we're at. The staff has been working, Felicia has been working to provide Logan Simpson with all of the things they need. It's been a lot more work. All of it has been a lot more work than we anticipated, and we're super thankful to have her because she's been able to give a lot of attention to it, more undivided attention than the rest of us have. But primarily, that part is done. We provided them with the maps, the current trails information, the recreation surveys that we've done. And so that's basically done. Their thing now is to do the Trails Master Plan outline, which you have a copy of. And then in progress of the existing conditions and constraints maps. So that's something that they're working on based on all of the GIS maps and such that Felicia has provided them in contacts. And that's been a big job. And then the phase, also in phase 1 to happen in May, Actually, I'm gonna have Felicia come up and give you a report, give you an idea on what she's been working on that. And she's graciously, when I asked her 10 minutes ago, she said she would.
Only 16 minutes ago, but. So yes, I'm a volunteer within the Parks and Recreation Department, working with Joni and Shell and having a great time. And this Trails Master Plan is one of the great things I'm able to work on. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the initial public outreach that's occurring the week of the 22nd of May. You have some information in your packet, but I'm going to elaborate just a little bit. There are 3 modalities of outreach, focus groups, one-on-one interviews, and an open house. So it's going to be a busy week, but I think it will provide Logan Simpson with a lot of good information. It's the first cycle of public outreach. There will be later cycles of public outreach, for example, when there is a map that Logan Simpson has prepared based on the public input. To get the public's reaction to the proposed trail map, but that's later. This is the first cycle, and so for the focus groups, those will be with what's called stakeholders and interest groups. There are 3 focus groups scheduled during that week of the 22nd. We expect 7 to 10 people in about each focus group, and each will be about an hour in duration. And we have a large range of participants, and I'll name just a few here: public land management agencies, local and county officials, a representative from the Yavapai Apache Nation, environmental groups, schools, public health agencies, user groups like hikers, bikers, equestrians. We have a youth representative, business interests, including the Downtown Business Alliance, Verde Canyon Railroad, and many more, but that's just to name some. And the focus group will be an hour in duration, and it'll be kind of set up in a circle, and with Logan Simpson managing the focus group because they have a lot of experience doing focus groups. And so the questions will be along the lines of, you know, what user groups should Clarkdale Trails serve? What types of trails and trail features would you like to see? What opportunities for trails in Clarkdale are there that we may not be aware of? And then what challenges are there related to trail development that, you know, we should be aware of or that you're concerned about? So that's the focus groups. Then there are one-on-one interviews with council. Again, Logan Simpson will be doing those one-on-ones with council and the mayor. And those will be 30-minute interviews with very similar questions to what I just shared with you for the focus groups. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be one large bunch of information that Logan Simpson will collate. And so we want the questions to be as similar as possible between the groups. It's not always possible to be exactly the same depending on the group you're interacting with. There will also be one-on-one discussions between Joni and some of the large landowners. Again, somewhat similar questions, but they would be tailored to that particular group. And then the other outreach will be a public open house on Thursday of that week. It'll be an hour and a half in duration. And unlike the focus groups, which will be kind of a circle where, you know, there will be questions and everybody gets a chance to respond verbally to questions, this will be held here, and there will be stations for people to come and go at will, and there will be easels with poster boards, and there will be questions, and some will have fields where people can put sticker dots to, you know, say, you know, what types of trails do I use, or, you know, what kind of trail activities do I engage in, and you can put, you know, stickers against those activities. Or there will be posters with just a question at the top, and people they will write their response and you can see what everybody else has written. So that will also be an opportunity for Logan Simpson to kind of get some demographic data or some data just in terms of how often people use trails in Clarkdale. So there will be questions about frequency of trail use and what trails do they use and how do they use them. So we're hoping to get a good turnout. Shell has put the information out there in Small Talk on Facebook. We're going to do another update next week and put a notice in Town Park to get the word out. So, and I guess we would ask you to do the same to kind of spread the word because we'd really like a good turnout. Oh, and the other thing besides the posters is there will be tables with maps that Logan Simpson has created that show where the existing trails are. And it will provide people with an opportunity to mark up the maps to say, here are what Logan Simpson calls opportunity areas, basically where could trails be or where there are trail challenges. So they would have people use different markers for that. So those are the 3 types of outreach going on that week. And then the other activity that we'll be spending a fair amount of time is working with Logan Simpson to, first of all, introduce them to the town. They've been here on like vacation or come through the area, but they don't really know the area well. Yeah, Fort Collins, right? So we're hoping to give them a great tour of the area, the neighborhoods, the history of the area, really give them a deep appreciation for the area, and importantly, show them the existing trails as well as the location of some of the trails that the town has proposed historically, so that they can actually, they have all the maps, but I think to see it would be extremely helpful. So that's it. Any questions?
No, thank you, Felicia.
We have commissioners.
Yes, so we have Alan and Ben both coming to one of the focus groups, right? Right, and we have, people from the biking community coming, and so a lot of different folks, so the focus groups are by invitation only, so if there's somebody that you think really should be part of a focus group, not just the open house, please contact Joni and let her know. Yeah. So.
We pretty much have a very good list that we went through with a few different people, and but if if there's somebody is an avid trail user in the area and very familiar, that we're not. But it's not going to be really helpful. Thank you, Felicia.
Can't do. Okay, so you covered everything, right? Yeah. The preliminary mapping, that won't come until June or July then. And that's going to be fun to see. Oh, I know, I had one other question for you, because I know it's on my mind, but I didn't, and maybe you said something about it, was the community survey. We're still doing that, aren't we?
Yeah, that's part of
the future one. Okay. Okay. I couldn't remember when for sure we were doing that. And what we should do is we'll create some flyers about the open house, and we'll make sure that you guys get, we'll make them small enough that, if you just happen to have a couple in your purse or in your back pocket and, somebody who would be interested, just invite them. That'll make it easy for you. Yeah. Any other questions or there haven't been any questions? Thorough.
Okay.
Report. Thank you.
The next discussion item is the river education program.
Yes, so we just wanted to give you an update since Doug Von Gossig was here a few months ago to talk to you about his river education program, and you all decided that that was a good thing for the community. He's currently got 14 students signed up for the spring and summer. They've already begun, they begin with kayak lessons for the group, and you know, a reminder, it's a free program, so it's really, it's nice to see that people are taking that interest. I gave you a few pictures here to show what they're working on. So the kayak, they started out with the kayak lessons to keep people safe, and then now they're going into more of learning the hydrology, morphology, history, and legal aspects of the river. And so I just wanted you all to have an update on how that's going. He also has been taking a number of already signing students up for the second round that he'll be doing later. So I think he has still some openings for that. So if you know someone, please be sure and have them contact. They can either contact us and we'll get them in contact with him, or just have him contact Verde River Institute. Yeah, it's a cool thing. We've been getting a lot of good feedback from the folks that are involved.
Okay, any other questions on that item? Okay, then move on to action items. 7A is Clarkdale's Old Fashioned 4th of July celebration.
So the Clarkdale Old Fashioned 4th of July celebration has been going on since at least 76. Just a little history on that. My mother-in-law and a group of ladies that were raising kids in Clarkdale started with a little kids parade, and they just have the kids dress up their bikes and head down, go down Main Street. Then they started a little ice cream social in the park along with it, so that they could do that. And it's now grown into a 1,500 people event for our town. It's a big deal. We do a lot of decorating. We've increased the decorations over the last couple of years. We do the streets with lights, the trees, Main Street trees with lights, decorate the gazebo for a longer period than just, you know, the day of kind of thing. This is Clarkdale's big deal with, you know, and it's nice because, and I think we probably get such a good turnout because of the fact that it's the only event that happens in the morning. So we have the pancake breakfast, we do the fire truck rides, we've got our recent, in the last 4 years, a bubble machine, 4 or 5 years maybe we've had that bubble machine that Alan's parents so graciously run that for us, and it's really cool. It puts out big piles of bubbles for kids to run in and play, and it doesn't use as much water as a lot of other things that we could potentially cool kids down with. So it's really fun. We have the parade, we have the prizes. What else? Food, vendors, the ice cream social hosted by the Clarkdale Historic Society, the Cottonwood Community Band plays for an hour. Yeah, I guess it's only an hour. We also have a band, typically a band or a single band member that plays patriotic music during the pancake breakfast. The police department and fire department team up to do the pancake breakfast, so that's not something that we have to spend a lot of time at, thank goodness. There's a lot of other logistics and stuff to set up, but it's such a cool event. And I'm sure you've all had the opportunity to enjoy that. One of the things that we are talking about today is the consideration of some possible changes. And you know, this is really up to you all and your experience with the event to, so currently with the parade, we have 5 categories, and we give away $300. total in those 5 categories. There's a first, second, and third place in each category. We have the best decorated bike, the most original entry, the most patriotic, the best decorated wagon, and a best pet costume, which we don't always get an entry for that, but it has happened. But we used to get more when people tried to sneak in their goats and their horses and things like that. We do not allow hooved animals in the parade, just because, you know, we don't want any little toes to get stepped on. So, we just had an idea, Shell and I were talking through it, to consider awarding, oh, okay. I have it, I got it. To consider awarding bikes, wagons, pets, floats, and group entries with 15 prizes, but labeled the awards as gold, silver, and bronze. So they're, shall you explain this? Because
So essentially, it would still cost us the same amount of money. But this way, we like those 3 categories, it'll give the judges a little more latitude to make sure that the 5 best get the 5 best. And then the next ones that have given the most effort are getting the next prizes. Instead of those, you know, categories where there should be one entrant and it's not as competitive. So we definitely still are gonna promote it as wanting the kids to use their bicycles and the wagon and encourage all the categories. But it has some advantages.
so the prizes would just be awarded that way. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So, and then the other idea was to encourage the strategic plan values so that, you know, we're showing that we're thinking along those lines. That's really a huge focus for all of us in the town right now. We are really focusing everything that we do around those strategic values and ideas for the community, because I mean, what good is it to create something like that and not, you know, not follow through with it and actually implement some of those things. So we could look at it with, you know, hold on. I obviously didn't read this before. The entries could reflect the town strategic plan, preserving our history, charm, and environment, and then also sustainability. You know, Shell's kind of vision on this was that, you know, we could even have prizes in those particular categories if we wanted to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ben actually mentioned this idea of trying to encourage the more sustainable element to it. And so maybe things that are recycled, things that remind people of the river and how to use the river, or parks or public possibly, things like that. And then, you know, our history and charm, we see a lot of that in old fashioned anyway. So just kind of taking those out of the strategic plan and thinking about if you guys all think that we should add a special category for that, or maybe just promote more that we're looking to award people with the gold, silver, bronze to incorporate some element of future.
Yeah, I think I really like the idea of the treating the gold, silver, and that makes a lot more sense. And yeah, as long as you're promoting it, that this is what we're going to be looking for, and that's what the judges are going to be looking for when, you know, when they're awarding the prizes. I think a great idea, much easier on the judges, I think.
Yeah, I've judged for a number of years, and that really is the problem is, you know, you have 2 or 3 standouts, but they're in the same category. You know, you have 3 or 4 wagons that are just the best, obviously, you know, and then you say, oh, wow, well, one of these has to be 3rd place, you know, these should all be 1st places and stuff like that. So I think it'll work a lot better for the judges, because you can just kind of say, what are our best ones here? These are our goals, you know, so, and then if we, just like when we do Halloween judging, and on the score form, it always says for originality, we want to emphasize homemade, we want to do those kind of things. I think they can say that both you know, on the judging sheet in that blurb, but also as the announcements are coming out, we really liked the ones that really highlighted the charm, the history, the sustainability. And it'll probably take a couple of years for those to really kind of get reinforced, but as long as we're saying it out loud in those different areas, I think it'll,
Mhm.
you know, eventually be more and more, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think coming from your experience as a judge, I think that's a really good input because that's a unique job to have and try to figure out with 100 parade entries and they've all done something to make themselves stand out, but yeah. And they want, you want the money?
Bribes, usually.
I think it's a good idea as well. It'll make it go smoother and you won't have so much stress at the end when you, and then also like, I feel like more people will be there to hear their gold prize winning, because you do happen to lose some people too in the mix. Maybe they, you know, they thought they were this category, so they left, but there's haven't been called yet or something like that, so. I
Yeah,
like it.
alternately, it could be red, white, and blue ribbons with the patriotic theme of the day. I mean,
Blue, red, and white.
gold, silver, and bronze aren't necessarily patriotic theme.
Right, so red,
Blue,
Yeah.
red, white.
blue, red,
That's
white.
what they do in science fairs.
Mhm.
White is the best.
Blue,
Blue is the best.
Red, white.
blue, red, white, maybe would make more sense just
Be
for that.
cute. Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that idea. That is one of the challenges that we face with this event every year because the band plays at a certain time.
Yeah.
Until 9:30. And then we don't start. We could start. What was?
Well, the other idea, if we did ribbons, if we did them as ribbons, they could be awarded before they leave the school. They could be stuck on, you know, you could award them, and then you could just announce, hey, here's our list of winners, like,
Are the judges normally at the school?
yeah, judges are at the school and the judging's done before
Oh,
the
yeah,
parade starts.
That's a great idea.
So you go through, you judge with 5 minutes left, you award them, hey, congrats, congrats, congrats.
Then they get to
And
have.
they all roll down the thing, and then they have them as they go down the street. And everyone sees who won without leaving their house.
Well, let's get them big.
Yeah, big.
Big, so that people can see them. The ribbons will get as big as we can,
Yeah,
as we can.
and if they just have ties or zip ties or whatever, we can just put them on.
And then you just award the money at the park as you announce it. Give them the envelopes at the park.
You could call all 5 of your first place gold winners up to the gazebo, hand them all their envelope, and then.
Yeah.
roll off
Just tell them to
silver.
grab their prize to the gazebo. When they walk up with the ribbon, they get
The
the,
park, well, I guess that's either.
It'd be nice to bring them up to the gazebo,
Yeah,
just because
that's
people
it.
want to see who it was,
Yeah.
but you
That
can
way
do
you
them all
can
at the
check
same
'em
time.
off.
I just announce the blue winners and have them all come up and give them their check.
Okay.
Those red winners.
So then the judges will need to let the winners know that they need to come to the gazebo at a certain time.
yeah, I mean, after the parade, this is the conclusion of the parade, I guess they could all go there. We could set a time that you're gonna do the announcement. I mean,
Just.
I don't know, that's,
9:30 to 10.
You do an intermission when the band plays to announce them? Can you
No.
ask
but
no?
thank
Oh.
you.
yeah,
Really good idea. I tried.
Oh,
trust
okay.
me. They take their stage very seriously. Yeah, they play 9:30 to 10:30.
well, if we do it
What
at
if we
ten
did
thirty,
this?
yeah,
That's right.
What?
here.
What if we, because the parade usually only takes
Hmm.
15 minutes.
6.5 minutes.
yeah.
So literally, we could do those announcements. Since everybody's already awarded, we could just say, go right to the gazebo.
Yeah.
As soon as you get there, you gotta be there right then to get your prize announcement. They don't actually have to be, but we can announce them then. And then, and then we can just have their prize. at the
Stop by
table.
the table if you
Stop by
want.
the table
grab your
and pick up
prize.
their prize. So we can just say, these are all of our gold. Not gold, blue winners,
Yeah,
red winners, white winners, come up so everybody can see them and then go get your prize over at the thing. We make it quick, we get the band out and then we're done for the day, because that's usually the last thing that happens. So,
Yeah.
Does it take a lot of deliberation between the judges?
No.
You could just do that, right?
No, you say,
Yeah,
you know,
and then
which ones are the
somebody
best?
keeps a list or-
That one, that one, that one, that one. Yeah, it's
And so
fast.
somebody keeps a list so that you don't even know.
Yeah, and then you can just check them off because you'll have a list that, okay, we gave out these 5, and then you would know if somebody didn't pick up their prize, you get a hold of them because you have the registration with their numbers.
yeah. I like that.
Yeah. And then the people that don't want to wait around for till the very end to find out if they won or not, they can go, we didn't win,
They
right?
already know.
Right.
They can strut down that street as a winner.
Well, because we end up with a whole bunch of prize packages at the end that they're out of there.
They've
By the
already
time we
gone.
announce, because we don't announce until the band's done at 10:30. And, folks are, they're just there for the parade, some of them. So that would be, I think maybe the thought process was to keep people hanging around the park more and enjoying the festivities, but, I think that's an individual thing. We can't make that happen.
Yeah.
It'll be easier to stop the band from starting right at 9:30 than having them stop in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So if you just say, oh, we're still, announcing, give us 5 more minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But it should work out fine.
Yeah, I think so. And they usually warm up, right before anyway, so we'll grab their mic so they can, because they have a guy that does their announcements.
Yeah, so ribbons with zip ties or tape, and then we'll just tell them, hey, stop by the, we'll be announcing at the end of the parade who the winners were, but then you can go up and get your prize from.
Yep,
So we'll walk down with the sheet and that'll be the end of it.
I love it.
Okay.
Fast.
Mhm. Is there anything else with the event, that anybody's thought of that needs any adjustment?
How are the games gonna work? I know they're going to sponsor, but, did we get rid of tickets? Or do you?
I have
Because
not
I feel like
talked to-
last time they still used the tickets because they wanted them for some reason, but no.
They get a count.
And then how many they serve, but we haven't heard from them yet, this year, if they're still gonna give out to, it will be free. for
Right.
All of the children, and they're still gonna have the school manning function, but it'll be up to them whether or not they wanna handle the ticket situation. If
I just think it's confusing to some.
we encourage them not
Yeah.
to do it.
Yes, we do.
But again.
But they did share with us that they got more in donations.
Oh, that was the
than
reason,
they-
that's right.
Oh, that's what it was, to get
They
them to the
wanted to
table.
come to the table just for donations. that's
Yeah,
right.
so they actually made a lot of money for
Oh.
classrooms last year as opposed to years beyond. So just so, for those of you who aren't aware, the games for the children are run by the Parkdale Jerome School teachers who wish to participate. And in the past, they have charged kids to be able to do that. And then the teachers, those who participate and help out, they get to split that money for classroom materials for their classrooms. And that's sort of their incentive to be involved, and, it helps them out. Last year, we really felt strongly about, not having the kids have to pay. It's a free event in every other way other
Yeah.
than food and, ice cream and,
Do you think would the fire and police department be open to making that free if they got somebody to sponsor their costs? I mean, and have that be a donation?
for the pancake breakfast?
Yeah,
I think
because
you're probably gonna
that
go
would
on.
kind of be the last pillar to fall, and it would be a completely free event. This would be, I mean, we have a lot of great sponsors, but somebody might say, hey, it's probably only a couple $100 worth of pancake mix and overly frozen orange juice.
I think what we have to do is find out how much they actually make from that.
Yeah,
Because that
And
is. a
see what it would take
fundraiser
to
for them
recoup them.
Also,
Sure.
right? They use those funds
for whatever it is.
for whatever it is. They have a specific thing that it goes to between the police and the fire.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's so cheap, they can't be much more than covering their costs. I mean, they're definitely not
$5 for adults and 40
making
for
a
kids.
ton.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I do know that Yeah,
Expensive breakfast. Right?
$5.
For two adults and three kids,
Yeah,
$22.
Yeah.
Yeah, but our experience is generally where if you ask for donations, still pay the $5
Yeah.
and then more.
Mhm.
And we have to really simplify responses. We would have to talk to the police department, who is there.
Yeah, yeah, that's their gig.
yeah,
Yeah, that's.
but,
totally-
but even if they wanted to try it one year, and see if donations yield, donations plus a sponsor might yield a lot bigger return for them,
Right,
so.
yeah,
Anyway.
that's a good point. Well, we can explore that conversation with,
The
the
Chiefs,
chiefs, yeah, and see what their thought might be. But what we did was we got our sponsor to help cover the cost of the kids' games. So the school made about $1,000 on average in doing the games for those particular classrooms that helped out. And so we found a sponsor for them last year who actually paid them $1,000 and they had a donation jar out. So that was the reason they had tickets, was because if they didn't give away tickets, they had no way to get people to some particular place. So they gave kids tickets, but it got parents to the table because they're used to paying for them. And so they ended up making quite a bit of funds for their classrooms. And, we totally support that and think that's a great partnership with them. So, but we'll explore that with the PD, and the school also does do a snow cone fundraiser for sports, for athletics. So they do that. We have it didn't work out well for them last year because we have a vendor who wanted to be at the park to do snow cones, and we said no because the school had their thing and he went across the street and a lot of us went across the street. And so he's basically said he's going to do the same thing this year. So we're trying to talk him out of it, and we can't stop him from doing that
Yeah.
because he's on private property. So anyway, but hopefully that'll all work out. And we already have vendors coming to us to sign up to be there, have their booths, and make it a fun event. So I think we have some great things on the table to change up the prizes, and I think that's going to simplify things. I'm just almost thinking, is there well, we have to do the registration to get their names and give them, but do they even need numbers?
not necessarily,
Let's
I mean,
think
it's,
about that.
it's pretty easy to say, hey, what's your name, what's your, mom and dad are usually there with them, or whoever is dropping them off, I mean,
One of the things
Being able
though,
to
they
get
fill
the
out the
info.
form and it's got a waiver on it.
yeah.
So they still have to probably
Injury
do a
waiver.
form. And we would at least have the form, but I'm just wondering why numbers are important.
I mean, do they line up in those? I mean, it doesn't matter if they do or not.
No,
Yeah, they
it's
don't.
random.
Yeah.
It's a way for you to know how many participants, or at least participant groups.
You could.
But we
get
go
the
by the
waivers.
form, they still fill out the form.
Yeah,
We don't. Queen of clicker, the queen clicker.
I usually delegate it, but yeah.
are the water stations, do they get a lot of use? I mean, are we still doing those along the route, or is that kind of
That was.
an idea that doesn't get a lot of use? It seems like that first one doesn't really have a whole lot.
Well, the first one's at the school, so
At the
what kids are, well, you've been up there.
Yeah.
It does get used.
Well, because it's right across the street, so like the parade starts, like they walk 30 feet and they're like. Like it's not, they're not tired yet. It's all downhill, it's a pretty short trip, like,
I thought that was, that we had the station in by the line so that.
No,
they could
it's
get
across the
water
street.
In the line.
it's on the other side of 16th from the,
Okay, so, yeah.
I don't know, I mean, maybe that's just one thing we don't have to set up and take down.
I'm all for reducing.
Oh, yeah. Well, we should ask past water station people to see if they're just, you know, if they have
Yeah.
any business at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be unnecessary and people carry their water bottles everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's such a short trip. I think probably the middle water
Mhm.
or the end water might be the most.
The end water I can see for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna die of dehydration or what.
Yeah, we have a water station that's up at the registration area. and we
Yeah.
Drink there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one, you can throw a rock from one water station to the other one, so.
Okay,
And we've never had any hydrated child
Mm.
there, 50 years.
That we know of. That we-
we haven't
Not
lost.
2 years in a
I don't think we've
row.
lost any. I don't think we've lost any either. Maybe at Halloween, but not at Fourth of July. We're usually pretty good. So, okay, so those are some good suggestions that can reduce, you know, staff time, reduce some volunteer time. You know, we'll begin reaching out to our volunteers and, we're really super thankful for our volunteer coordinator assistant. Cheryl Castle, who, does all of that outreach. Kristen, how it's really helped out a lot. And, so we'll start reaching out to people and getting them on the list for help. And, we hope that some of you can help us if you would like to be a parade judge. Then,
Well, there's some that just want to do that every year. Who usually does it? With just Janet Reckon?
Marty's done it in the
I've done it, Marnie has done it.
Ellen, did you do it? Or you were the
Registration.
coordinator up there? But
Yeah. I'll do that again.
Great.
My kids are gonna be in it, so I can.
Yeah, you can't.
Mhm.
Okay, well, you'll get the memo
Thank you.
and just let us know what you'd like to do. And thank you. Is there anything else that we appreciate your input and helping us look at things in a different way? Because, you know, when you've done the same event for a really long time, sometimes you just do it because it's easy and you don't always take the time to look at how you can reduce some hassle in getting it done, so.
Yeah.
Need a motion?
I could go ahead and make one just for the formality of it. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve keeping all Clarkdale Old Fashioned 4th of July traditional components. Restructure the award categories, staff and volunteers best seem fit. Evaluate potential other small changes and include strategic value elements during judging for prizes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Final item for tonight, the action items is gonna be the Caballero Park. We're going to discuss, consider and act upon the Caballero Park playground considerations.
So just to give you a reminder, we, the council in March voted for us to decline the first round of bids for the Caballero Park plan for numerous reasons, primarily over budget. We ended up going out for a second round. We had 4 bidders come in. We had one had to be disqualified because they didn't have all of their pieces in place, so we weren't able to review their bid, but 3 of them were viable bids for us to review. And one of them came in about $140,000 less than our lowest bid in the first round. So, we've had conversations with that company because we were a little nervous about that because of the fact that that was a pretty big decrease. Now, keep in mind that we did remove a couple of things. So we removed the drainage plan for the park because we had our town paid certified engineer look at it and say what we were doing was overkill. It was not necessary for the park. And so we we took that out, which was an expensive piece in that first round. And then we also removed the solar Wi-Fi charging picnic table. Because in the first round, we weren't really sure how that was gonna work out. We're still not really sure how that's gonna work out. But we have a really good chance at a grant through T-Mobile to get funding for that. So the grant's been written. Natalie Harlan, our volunteer, completely took the lead on that, did all the background, did all the dealings with T-Mobile, met with the local people, I mean, it was, we're feeling really good. She's a former grant writer, so we're feeling really good. We felt good enough about that we removed that from the bid because it was about a $20,000 increase. And if we don't need it because we're going to get the money from T-Mobile, then it's not, we'll go out for another grant if we decide we still want it if we don't get that grant. So we removed that. That helped lower it. This particular company, Arizona Recreation Design Incorporated, that had the low bid, they really wanted this project, and they haven't done a whole lot of work in northern Arizona. They really wanted to get into our area, and they worked with the playground developer, playground supplier to get a really good deal for us on the playground equipment. So we have some choices of playgrounds. One is within our budget and one is slightly out of our budget. And so we want to look at the playground options, and really we just want to, we actually, in fact, Commissioner Kessel and her other half, sorry, not better,
Watch it.
other half, went to took flyers down to Caballero Park area. Patio Park. To Patio Park and delivered flyers to invite the community to come today to this meeting and be able to have a chance to view the play equipment options and colors, because we have some things to think about there. So we provided in your packet the playground equipment, and Shell has it up on the screen. Yeah, what else do I have to say about that?
The residents also received a QR code that they could.
Right.
Go and access all of the options, so hopefully they did at least have a chance to see the option, and we left our email so they can still get some right back.
Yeah, and we didn't hear from anybody. We checked right before we came over for the meeting. But anyway, last night at the council meeting, we took this to council for approval of the contract with the low bid company, Arizona Recreation Design, and they approved it. So, and we do know we're going to need some change orders throughout, because one of the things that we have some change orders to consider is what I really need to say. They did not include a covered swing, a cover over the swing set like we had in our scope. But that was the only thing. I mean, they had an impeccable bid with details. We've done the research. Alicia has taken the time to go through and do all the contact to do check references. We've heard nothing but good about the company. We were impressed by them from the very beginning. They showed up at the bid meeting. They had very thoughtful questions regarding what they things that we had thought of, that we ended up changing our scope a little bit and sending it out to everyone again, just so that we can make sure we covered everything. So what we're doing tonight is just kind of looking at these options. The first one, Michelle, can you? Oh, I guess I could, I'm sorry, I have this. Option one, play system, and let me just say, both of these play units, checked all the marks of, play opportunities that we were looking for kids with, including climbing, the slides, a full list of items. So that's kind of the layout, what it would look like on the playground, and this is just the big play system itself. And it does fit. So this is one color scheme for the set. You can see it has shade over the equipment. It has this cool little swingy thing out here, climbing here, the stairway, climbing here, several slides, 3 different slides, one of them being a curly slide. And then we've got the covered swings. This was after the fact, we went back to them and said, hey, can you show us something with some shade? And the shade is optional. We can decide if we need it or if we don't, but our strong feeling anymore, and we're already talking about town park, is that we're in Arizona. And that's one of the things that when our playground company, inspection company comes out, that's one thing they mark for us, is if we don't have shade over play systems. So just something to keep in mind. This is just another view of it. It has another climbing area here. Yeah. And then it has this cool little rope thing in between. So it basically, its footprint is pretty much the same as the second one that you're gonna see. But because it has that kind of open center, it spreads it out a little bit.
Is option one the one that's within budget, and option two is the one that's over?
We do know that, council is committed to making this park really something special for the neighborhood. So, while we are looking to do our best to stay within the budget, and if that means some change orders and cutting out something else to make sure that we have something really nice for the neighborhood, we want to do that. This is just a different color scheme of the same unit. That's a little more earth tone, more natural colors.
Then 3 color scheme.
Joni, what's below all of this? Like,
Oh, thank you for asking. That is all wood chips like we put in a town park. So we're getting rid of, as we can, we're getting rid of sand in all of our playgrounds and going with the wood chips. They seem to be working really well. And we did town park as a test because we hadn't used that kind of material before. And we're super happy with it. And our public works department is pretty happy with it, other than they're, having to sweep and get some of it off the grass. But just from a maintenance perspective, because the sand packs so hard, they have to constantly be in there fluffing it up. And then this is the final color scheme for option one. These colors kind of represent our new town logo colors. And so we asked them to put something together along those lines. Shall I send them the color scheme? I also wanted you to note on this scheme, we ended up getting this very cool harness swing that definitely, gives some ADA quality, and we got a different color sling. That was a big discussion in our pre-bid meeting. Was that one of the playground guys was just looking at us like, are you crazy? Have you ever seen a color? We're like, well, we don't want them black. It's hot. And so this guy found us some. These are just
Option 2, Joni.
yeah. Let's go to option 2. This, you know, this is a big unit. It's very big. But it does fit within the parameters of the park. It has multiple slides, it has this side of the view, goes and it has that little swingy dingy thing out there that we like. Yeah, finding, keep going. It has this piece, this little turny wheel, this little car riding kind of thing, but it has something really cool that
I don't know why you put it last.
I know.
There you go.
Anyway, okay. So I also think these little wood, this is sort of a natural looking little climbing thing, but it has this cool cage that actually comes out of a V shape, and it has ropes inside it. We didn't bring that picture with the, or I'm not sure where it is in an email somewhere, of kids actually climbing up in that. So those are just kind of ropes that are secured across, and they can climb up through it, but they're in a cage, kind of situation. So we thought that was cool. Another climbing, you know, opportunity here, a cage thing there. Another climbing, different, all kinds of different stairs.
Does this one just have 2 slides? Is that one thing?
This one,
Well, I like the first one better because it has the twirly slide, and I like that it has a open sight line through it.
Yeah.
Because when you look at this one, you can't see,
it's to
you
get in
can't
there.
see kids in the middle or on the other side, where the other one has like kind of a break in the middle. You know, it's just a lot easier.
Mhm.
And I think especially, you know, I mean, the other one just looks like a lot of posts. And the, you know, the ring shape makes it kind of like a, that's what I see in the two.
Honestly, I think as much as I like that, and our goal was to like, just get something really spectacular for this park.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe it's a little big for the,
God, this one looks like a great play structure. I mean, and if there are parts of the other one that you like so much, I'm sure they can
they can.
swap them out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
modular, so we did ask them that.
My only question about this illustration, is there less shade with this option? Are they just over like 2 areas and in the middle is exposed? Do you know?
I don't.
Yeah,
I
so
know-
one's 41 by 46 and the other one's 40 by 45.
So they're
So-
basically,
Yeah, it's a little bit less shade for the first one.
yeah.
Is there a model of these somewhere that we could look
Yeah, in Scottsdale.
Now would be the time to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, they look
I'm like
nice,
that
and-
too, Becky. I'm very visual. What I do need to say is, so let's talk about the timeline for the project. This builder contractor can start, okay, first, we have until February 18th. We have till February to have the project complete, right? February something. To have the project complete per our CDBG grant. We do know that, you know, if it gets tight within a short period of time, they will probably work with us, but we want to try to get the project done sooner. So this contractor, and with supply right now, this contractor, if he orders this playground equipment soon, then we can, they can start this project in October and be done by end of November, basically. Otherwise, we're gonna be pushing it into November, December builds, and yeah, that could just run into problems with weather and timing and holidays and all that kind of thing. So we would like to make a decision sooner than later, to determine, to try to get that timeline going. So, because, yeah, I mean, everything else they can do in a shorter period of time, but getting the equipment is where the time lag is. So just something to keep in mind.
I like option one for all the reasons then listed, and also it's in budget, and so there's not going to, and it's like you said, it's not so massive for that,
Mhm.
it's not a huge save.
And with it falling in budget, it fits what you're saying, the sooner the better. If that's the selected one, staff can start making the moves to get the whole project rolling versus getting extra money from council or doing all these extra steps.
Yeah, well, we did get approval for the town manager to be able to sign off on any change orders that we need to do. This would not be a change order, other than we would have to do a change order for this, for the shade over the swings, because that was included.
And for swapping out,
And
did
if
you?
we add- This one comes with a rope too, that the second one does not come with it, so it's like as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, the cage, if we have the cage.
Mhm.
Did we get a quote on that? Okay. So we could add that cool cage climbing thing that we like, and we kind of thought about that. I've gone back and forth a lot, and just for this particular part, I kind of lean toward this one. Even with that, you know, grandeur, plan to have it be something really cool, but I also know that, you know, it's not like the display system is gonna have 20 kids on it, or 10 kids probably even at one time. It's gonna have a couple of kids at a time. And so putting something so huge in there, you know, maybe it doesn't make as much sense, but it's still a nice, really nice system.
I just think being able to look at it, Cottonwood or Oakdale PD has noted that at a number of places that they want to be able to drive by and get a really good view of everything. And I think in the other one, it's just too obscure.
Really, yeah, really busy.
Yeah. So let's talk colors.
I have an opinion. The second one, the evergreen, I really like it aesthetically, but the slide is so dark.
Yeah.
And no, they're gonna burn their little legs.
And the really small covering, I just wonder, does it cover enough? Could we have that a little bit bigger to make sure everything was in shade?
Well, we can ask that question for sure.
So little.
What, Ben, do you have those specs out? What was the?
Yeah, so it's about, I mean, so it says the protected area, and the first one is 40.5 feet by 45 feet. And the second one.
You're talking about
The big shade versus the little.
the separate shade?
Total square footage. So, and then the other one is 41 feet by 46.6. So
Slightly.
half a foot by a foot and a half difference. I mean,
Okay.
not nothing. I mean, it's 48 square feet more, so, and it's bigger as well. So,
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
hard,
I think those are probably sized to cover the shaded adequately.
It may just be the drawing is hard to determine whether, like what all will be actually shaded.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we can certainly ask them, because they did say that parts are interchangeable. We can look at potentially what the cost would be to add a larger shade cover on this. Yeah, so are we still on color?
Yeah.
I
I
like-
also like the evergreen. I just drove down there a couple of days ago, and the apartment complex right next to the park is a nice olive green. So kind of keeping with the green scheme, and there's a bunch of trees right over the park. So I like the green. I did have that same thought as you. The dark slide might be dangerous, but what if they could swap the color arrangement with slides or the
Yeah.
lime green?
These are just, yeah.
Yeah.
They gave us color palettes
Yeah.
and we went, okay, we're not gonna bring you guys, that because we'll be here. all
I like the
night.
green. I think the lime green is fun and you don't
We
see
look at
that
the lime-
often. You don't see that at a lot of parks. You see a lot of blues, you see a lot of red, and
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the Clarkdale color scheme also.
I like it because it's dark, yeah.
What are the colors again?
They're lime and purple and gray.
Mhm.
The lime is like trendy.
And I think the slide is purple
Mhm.
over there. I mean, they could definitely change the color on the, but what color would you want?
We do the like.
Not knowing what the colors are.
Like the blue from Daydream, I mean,
I think just stick with the green and go the lighter green for the slide. That's what they're saying, that's what they're saying, just keep the color matrix, but put some railings dark and put the slide light. I think that looks the most natural, it's pretty, it looks good.
What about the shade cover? What do you think?
Doesn't really
about-
match, but
lighter the better.
The light is good because it will reflect.
what are you less likely gonna see bird poo on?
Mhm.
Right.
It'll match the wood chips.
What? I'm just saying. What's it made out, what's that made out of? Is that canvas or is it plastic?
It's like the shade, it's heavy duty shade canvas. They use it in a lot of parts. So initially, they gave us
It matches, if it matches the ground, it kind of all brings everything together. And it matches the steps too, those other steps that were just right there.
I sort of like I really like the color of that altogether.
I don't know how much different, how, it's gonna get hot no matter, if it's not under shade, it's gonna get hot no matter what.
Is that evergreen right there? Yeah, see, in our packets, the slides almost look black. That looks a lot
mhm.
better.
And maybe they do have, we don't have the color palettes up right now, but, so we do have potentially a lighter, color, but I like the contrast of the green and the gray. We did want the gray on the surface, the floor. Versus the darker color, it's wanted, you could get the tan that would match the shade, but. Yeah. So,
It seems like we're all agreed as that option one is the choice. Do you want a motion on the color or do we want to
Together, both together, or
look
just,
at colors a little more? I mean,
we can have them bring back a couple of different color schemes and we can just send it to you. Or you
I
can
don't
just
think
let
it's-
us. if
I don't
we
think it's worth slowing it down.
I think.
I don't.
I think we should be fine. Then we'll, see what minor changes that we can make and we'll go with that. If everybody's feeling.
I would
Oh.
say I don't like the Daydream color scheme as much. The other two, I like either one I'd be totally fine with. I think that our motion should include going with option one, but staff recommendation to make whatever adjustments and change orders. Like as makes sense as you kind of figure out what the prices are in those and what will fit, and that way. You'll have the latitude to kind of put it together how you want. I mean.
Okay.
can you make
so
that motion?
was that a motion?
I'll move
Now put it
I'll move
into-
to approve, to recommend option one, staff to make any changes as they see fit and to choose from the colors, Evergreen or Clarkdale as makes sense. And there may be other staff that have other input on that or whatever else, but
Okay.
trust that.
I like that color the best.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Dang, that was easy, you guys.
alright.
Yeah.
Future,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, future agenda items. The only thing I noted, as you mentioned earlier, was additional pickleball at Copper Penny Park. We'll bring that to a formal meeting moving forward. Anybody else would like to add anything?
Whatever happened with Ben's bathroom suggestion?
That was
Where
actually,
is
that was in
that?
the update. It was,
It's in the staff report
Okay.
for Town Park.
yeah, so,
Okay.
so the the thing had said that they were looking at that to do locking things, removing the stalls, moving forward with that to make
Okay.
them a family style bathroom, right?
Perfect.
Would be changing tables, no stall, locking door, push button locking door.
Nice.
We are having those conversations out there. We're having those conversations right now. Within our organization between Public Works and our town manager. So, yes.
It's
we
on
will.
page 7.
Okay.
Here.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, it was just.
I
it's so-
printed my front and back and I got all messed up. I missed.
No, I appreciate that was in the
got my
update.
stuff.
Yeah, that was, that, in that report that I gave on the, going back to the town park maintenance, that was a big part of that conversation.
That we, oh, that's where it is.
And you'd also noted the sign at the Copper Penny Park bathroom. I saw in there, adding a bathroom sign. Yeah, it's unlabeled, yeah, it's completely unlabeled.
Oh.
Um,
Push that there, okay. Yes. The bathrooms can be used, single-use family restrooms. Yeah, so
Or maybe
that may be something we bring back actually next meeting. If we can,
I think you're doing research on it now.
Yeah. Related to the closure of the bridge.
yeah.
mhm.
You know, it's a tricky conversation because lots of different places do it differently.
Sure.
The bathrooms at the riverfront are just, you know, kind of like the Costco ones where you go in and they don't have doors. And then we have like Copper Penny bathroom where it has a door, you can go in and lock it. We have the town park bathrooms and Centerville bathrooms that they're just stalls with open doors. The doors don't close and lock. So we really do need, and especially going into building Selma Mangini, we need to get a really good idea on standards, but people have different, we're learning in the conversations we're having in our office, people have really different views on that. And, you know, what's a safety thing?
Yeah.
You know, is it safer to be able to have a door that locks where somebody could drag a kid in and lock the door and nobody could get in to, you know, protect the kid? Or is it, you know, safer to, yeah, I mean, people have had different experiences than others that cause them to have certain feelings about it. So that's part of the conversation we're having internally.
There has been support from the different people we've been hearing from for the family style and unisex,
Yes,
that aspect.
absolutely.
It's just a
Just
conversation
the
about really.
doors.
category,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's a family style bathroom, you can't not have a locking door.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
because you don't want, you know, somebody coming in to use, yeah, you know.
Thank you for working on that.
Yeah.
The other thing was that we had the successful volunteer appreciation event. I don't know if that's something that would go and report or like a recap on that, or is that a different group that looks at that?
No, and I apologize. That should have been on this particular agenda because it happened in April.
Yeah.
It just sort of,
Well, we did a lot of things differently in this one, and I thought it was a pretty big success, and I mean,
No, I think I heard back from some people that they liked the way the price thing went.
yeah. I think not having the long prize announcement raffle thing was a really nice change.
it worked out very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having the back.
Yeah.
I liked.
Mhm.
Cool.
Okay. No further items, any objection to adjournment?
None.
Well, this meeting is adjourned at 6:41 PM.
Thanks to all of you. And to be successful. Did you stop for the?